In the spotlight tonight, she is a voice of young conservatism, has spoken out against Sarah Palin, and posed for the No Hate campaign, which supports marriage equality. She is also the author of Dirty, Sexy Politics, which recounts her experience during the 2008 campaign as the daughter of presidential candidate Senator John McCain. Joining me now, columnist for the Daily Beast, Meghan McCain. Meghan, you're here on a historic day for Don't Ask, Don't Tell. The House of Representatives today passed it as a standalone bill, 250 to 175, with 15 Republican votes in favor of it. You've been thinking about the Senate. You've been thinking about one particular vote in the Senate, John McCain's. I
haven't been thinking about it.
What do you think he will do with this bill coming to the Senate in its current form? Would he be part of a group that would try to prevent it from coming to a vote?
Yeah, I do. I think my father will filibuster probably, and I think that this will probably pass, and I think gay marriage will pass in this country.
And you've done everything you can to lobby John McCain, so we're going to leave him out from now on, okay?
I have to keep making this clear. My public political life and my personal life with my father are very different. I mean, Maureen Dowd wrote her last column about what Thanksgiving was like between me and my father, but if I couldn't separate these things, I wouldn't have a relationship with my parents.
Right.
So.
And people disagree with their parents on all sorts of things.
Yes.
And so, you're not the only person in America who disagrees with their parents on Don't Ask, or father. But let's give you the assignment of lobbying Scott Brown, of lobbying other possible Republican votes in the Senate to pull them over, to get this up to 60 so that it could go forward. What case would you make to them?
I would make to them that they would want to be on the right side of history. That is where I'm standing at this. I think gay marriage and everything having to do with sort of the gay rights movement right now is a civil rights issue. I think it's my generation's civil rights issue, and I would tell them, do you want to look back on this time the way we look back, what I look back at a time in our country when women couldn't vote? That would be how I would petition them.
What do you make of someone who's saying, I need more time to study that report from the Defense Department about how this would impact the troops?
It's great spinning. That's what I would say.
The report's been out there long enough, right? I mean, how much time do you think is reasonable? You've seen a senator at work up close. Yes, they can't take a Defense Department report and read it the minute they get it. They've got stuff stacked up in their desks already. But on something this urgent, on something that you know is moving toward possible votes, those things get up to the top of your inbox pretty quickly.
I just think if you can go and die for this country, then it doesn't matter what you do in your home in your private time.
And do you think there's something possible in the future of the Republican Party to open up in this area? Or do you feel that the Republican Party is actually closing down? I mean, to go back to the McCain example, there's a guy who you would think at certain times in the past could be open on areas like this, but he is a Republican who seems to have narrowed into a more conservative Republican view of not just this, but other subjects, immigration, so forth. And he's not the only.
What angle you're looking at.
Yeah, but he's not the only one. And I mean, I'm struggling for other examples, so I don't have to use your father as the for everything. But he's not the only one. The Republican Party has, it seems, in many ways, gone backwards in its thinking on certain things.
I do agree that there's this very visceral conservative movement that's going on in this country, but I think my popularity and people like me that have had this sort of different, rogue, whatever adjective you want to put on it, movement right now. I think there's a lot of young blood. I think there's a lot of young conservatives that are socially liberal, and I just think they don't get the media time because it's just not as interesting.
Now, the DREAM Act, you're from Arizona, a border state. You know an awful lot about our immigration issues, illegal immigration issues. Your father's done a lot of work on it over the years. His position seems to have, again, on that one, drifted more into the conservative zone than where he's been in the past, going for comprehensive immigration reform. The DREAM Act seems to be...
And I was just home in Phoenix recently over Thanksgiving, and I drove by my father's office, and there was huge protesting going on outside, giant posters and people screaming and people honking as they pass by. So this is definitely an issue that is hitting a lot of buttons with a lot of people.
An amazing switch for that office, because he used to be one of the heroes of the people who were protesting out there in terms of his advocacy of comprehensive reform.
But I think in Arizona, a lot of things have changed recently. I mean, I grew up in this border state, and definitely the climate has completely changed. For me, this is about securing the borders. We have to secure the borders. It is a national security security issue at the most ultimate level. And I think Arizonans are sort of stereotyped as these redneck racists, when in fact everyone is just scared about what could possibly happen if a terrorist is smart enough to bring a dirty bomb across the border.
You know, one of our first soldiers killed in Iraq had entered the country illegally as a kid. That was discovered after he was dead, and he was granted citizenship.
I'm familiar with the story.
Yeah, in his grave. But that's what the DREAM Act is aimed at. It's aimed at these kids who've come to this country illegally, not at their own initiative, at their parents' initiative when they were kids. They've gone to high school here. They've joined the military. They're fighting in our wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And the DREAM Act provides for them a no-cost path to legalization in this country if they would choose it. I mean, is that something you think Republicans should be able to get behind? The Wall Street Journal thinks it's a good idea.
I do. I understand, and I think the greatest part about being an American is that you can have any education you want, you can be anything you want to be, and we're all immigrants. I mean, there was a point in time when I'm Irish, when you weren't allowed to hire Irish people. I worry about the cost, I worry about sort of the legalities of it, but as a general whole, yes, I do believe that if you've been living in this country for 5 years as a student, you should have access to education. I think this is a very complicated bill. I think this is a lame duck session going on, that Harry Reid is trying to jam this through without everyone being able to analyze what's really going on in this bill. But as a general whole, yes, I do believe that everyone should have access to any kind of education, especially if you're going to serve your country in the military. Well,
the DREAM Act, to be fair to it, has been out there. What's true is they're
shoving it through right now.
There have been different editions of it, because some people will complain this version of it might involve a cost, and so they've done a lot of work to try to eliminate all costs, which CBO now says they have successfully taken costs out.
I just don't know if 2 weeks away from Christmas, with all the things that are going on in the economy, this is the most appropriate time to be doing this.
What better time? What better time than Christmas, the spirit of giving, to say to those soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan that are there for us, that if you continue to do your duty, when you come back here, we will welcome you into the legalized flow of immigration into this country. What better time than Christmas for that?
Guess we can agree to disagree on that.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Quickly, though, Sarah Palin killing caribou, good for America, bad for America. What is that? Is drawing that kind of blood what she should be doing to position herself to maybe be the next president of the United States?
I'm not a hunter. I don't know. I don't think I could kill an animal. She's not as good of a shot as I thought she was. I've been shooting guns for a long time. It took her 4 shots to hit the caribou. I was surprised. I thought she'd be a better shot than that. But, she's running for president, and I'm sure this show is the greatest ad for running for president of all time. So I think she's doing everything right.
See, I don't think she's running.
I
think she
I will make you the biggest bet.
I think she's running for a billionaire. I think she's running for all the money that she can make.
You can be both. Look at Mayor Bloomberg. He's trying to do both.
Yeah, but hey, he had to be a billionaire first. So we're going to make our bet on whether she's running. I'm betting she's not. Meghan McCain, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.